Okay, this is my Harley Davidson hat, and it's all about Born to be Wild. Who is born to be wild? Well, we seem to have a lot of wild in my talkings today. I talked about a metaphysical author, the late Stuart Wilde, and I talk about people that are wild and need to be left wild. Um, Now, if you are Bart Simpson's mother, you know about practical jokers, pain in the asses, people who break a lot of expensive things, and are generally so cute you really can't get too upset of them for too long. Now, in the True Squad that I just made, I said there's zero chance of first contact with extraterrestrials for most humans. I should have added on, but it didn't come out in True Squad, and I'm going to just put it out there. For most humans, we're not going to have extraterrestrial contact. How many humans are really going to have extraterrestrial contact? Um, how many people get in like the NASA space program? Um, um, The answer is probably a few people on planet Earth are going to have some weird experience where they're going to think that they are in contact with extraterrestrials. Are they? The answer is unknown. You could muscle test to see if your muscle test will tell you who you're talking to. Otherwise, who might you be talking to? Well, you might be talking to some entity that is in an astral world where somehow there's a connection between our world here in physical planet Earth and another world where, you know. And those people might present to you as maybe angels or fairies or ascended masters or, quite often for me, demonic entities. And we would always remind you of the possibility that you're not actually talking telepathically to anyone at all. What your mind has done is created some separate personalities, the same as a Hollywood actor would do if they're in a lot of different movies. They create new personalities to present for the purposes of the movies they're starring in. And it's no big thing. It's not only Hollywood actors or Broadway actors who can create a separate personality. Everyone can. Children do it when they're playing with dolls. This doll, I'm going to be that personality. This doll says this to this other doll who has a different personality. It's basically ingrained in humans to be able to create other personalities. So, people who are saying they are talking to extraterrestrials are pretty much the same as 4-year-old children playing with dolls. Now, what if these personalities that, someone has cooked up come out with some unknown information to, the ground level regular personality of the actor, the one that, walks down the street to McDonald's to grab a coffee and a donut or something. Dead air. Now, there's really nothing else I can tell you. It's just some personalities do get highly creative. And it is astonishing for me as a comic actor when some of these other personalities come up with stuff that I have never heard of before. It's astonishing. It's where the hell did that come from? But, I pretend that there are other personalities off in space at the Hutch space station, most of them. And it makes for an interesting little Mr. Rogers neighborhood thing that I do. The personalities that I do talk to are real personalities. But I can no longer say that I am believing that they are extraterrestrials. If I ever did, it was simply because that's what they were telling me, and I was simply relaying it to them or to you. Or they are extra. How are you ever going to know? And these odd things that these personalities come up with, well, if you were going to act as if you were Yoda, a wise old elf-like creature, it's quite likely that Yoda personality is going to access things in the source fields, which is where all the thought forms are. And these ones that Yoda is going to access are going to be different than, what your mailman accesses. Are there going to be true information in there? Might be some very interesting information. Are you going to want to bet the farm on what your version of yoga tells you to do? Well, if you're that kind of person, maybe you're a kind of person. I had a friend who played this game. It was called the flip a coin game. In other words, am I going to go to Hong Kong or Rome on my next flight out of town? They'd flip the coin, heads Rome, tails the other one. A grounded individual, what would they do? Generally speaking, there are no grounded people anywhere on planet Earth. I learned a long time ago from from many different marketing teachers that people only purchase based upon emotional attachment to the product that is being presented to them. Only emotions will make people buy. In other words, people don't use the rational mind when they're in a habit of buying things. They want to be swayed emotionally. And that's why we have advertising. Generally speaking, if people are trying to create a nice experience for themselves, then they want the treats that make those things happen. For some people, it's like it's our anniversary. We want real French champagne, chilled and in nice little glasses, and maybe chocolate-covered strawberry fondue. And then we want to have a romantic interlude where we go to a fancy schmancy hotel that's got a hot tub right in the room, and we're going to have hot tub, drink champagne, and then we're going to go and screw our brains out. And then the next day we're going to wake up with a hangover from the champagne and a hangover when we see that the bill is $600. But, looking back next year, they'll say last year we spent $600 on our anniversary, and we have to outdo ourselves this year. How much money do we have to spend? It's like people that are going to Vegas, People go to Vegas, regular people that go regularly to Vegas. It's like, how much money am I prepared to lose? That's what they tell you. I go to Vegas, it costs me this much for the hotel, food, to go and see shows, the airfare, and then I'm going to have a block of money, which is my gambling money, which I am prepared to lose because it's part of my vacation. And for somebody, it doesn't take very long to lose money in Vegas. And if you're a smart person and you've put $500 to lose, you lose $500, you stop gambling. Those people don't have a gambling problem. It's the other people that don't stop at $500 in losses that are a real bitch. In any event, don't forget that I do lots of characters on here who still do talk about first contact and extraterrestrials, and I don't want to tell you that I'm only one personality, and the other ones are most likely going to disagree with me. So please stay tuned, because I'm sure we're going to hear from some of them. And this is how I keep you all entertained, because my different characters that come through this old body never agree on anything. They have, when I'm not on camera, the different personalities that I have active around me, they have constant discussions, fights among each other, fights with me at the front, the person talking to you. They like to call themselves Little Scamps, which was a term they stole from metaphysical writer Stuart Wilde. The Little Scamps are simply, they're having a lot of fun and a lot of adventures. They don't like being bored. If they're bored, they're going to cause a ruckus, because a ruckus is always better than boredom. And generally speaking, when they have a ruckus, it means usually I don't have too good of a day, because their ruckuses are very difficult. But the characters also have a lot of enjoyments that they enjoy. They love to go for a drive. They love to go to karaoke. It's like the famous thing. Every single one of the characters loves it when he sings this one. Why? Because it's like they like to model themselves on the Muppet Show. And they're always saying, well, maybe somehow people are watching us, so we're going to put on a really good show. And they love the Muppet Show. They love Stuart Wilde's idea of Little Scamps. There was a movie a long time ago. There was a few movies. Oh, I can't think of it. But it was about, what was the movie? Is it like politically incorrect to call very small people like dwarfs? Well, there was a movie where there was like the seven dwarfs. It wasn't the seven dwarfs. It was like seven dwarfs who were time bandits. That's what they think they are. They're time bandits, exploring, going on quests and adventures. And they do go on quests and adventures. And generally speaking, they don't like to sit around very much. Usually they say, let's go, and out the door we go. Why does that happen? Just because they're little scamps, and they like to stick their noses in places that they shouldn't go, and then they like to run away. They're a lot of fun, but oh my goodness, it can be a long day with the little scamps. All the same, that's what I've been gifted with, and I like to share little bits and pieces of Little Scamp's life with all of you. We haven't heard from Officer George Grouse lately, and we haven't heard from Technical Sergeant Tad Fogelis from the Men in Black recently, and Vasily Fisk is still not around. Christopher Isherwood disappeared this week. We have not heard from some of our old long-term people. I don't know if you even know them, but there's Arbuthnot, who went off to be a pirate and we haven't heard from. There's Little by Little that we hear from very occasionally. There's what's his name? Inspector Luger from Barney Miller, the old TV show. Yeah, the real Inspector Luger, same voice, same character. The actor James Gregory, he visits me not very much lately. We have Mookie, Wayne, and Ian. We have some other ones, and there was a DJ that came in when I first met Rumpelstiltskin, the fifth dimensional elf, and he was an amazing person, and he disappeared because he couldn't handle all the fighting that was going among the little scamps. But we still think at some point perhaps he'll come around. And anyways, stay tuned. There's always more.